Hey, my name is Rafael, you're watching Rock and Roll Garage, and today we're going to talk about The Who and the Guess Who. I'm going to tell you a really funny story about the two bands. But first, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave your comment, and tell me what you think, okay? Well, the first thing is that The Who was formed before. The Who was formed in 1964 in England, and the Guess Who was formed in 1965 in Canada. But obviously both bands have really similar names, and it's the same intention, right? Because every band is the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the something, right? So the Who, or and obviously when people ask them who is that band, and you say, oh, the Beatles, the Who, that's something that still happens obviously when someone doesn't know the band The Who, but obviously it became a good idea for those bands, and they call themselves like that, using that funny idea. But the interesting thing is that they met each other still in the 60s, although they were quite far away from each other. But they had the chance to meet themselves, and when the Canadian band went to England, and according to the Guess Who guitarist and singer Randy Bachman, he learned that there was a band called The Who in England. So he went, and when he had the chance to meet the guys from the band, he talked with Pete Townshend, and Bachman was convinced to make Pete Townshend change the name of the band, saying they were called the Guess Who. But it was a really interesting meeting, and he recalled that in an interview with Classic Rock back in 2022. And we're gonna read that part together. He said, that's what Randy Bachman told Classic Rock in 2022. He said, when I was in the Guess Who, we found out about this English band called The Who, and we were determined to force them to change their name. So we were in London, and The Who were playing at the Marquee Club. Down we went to confront them. They were being filmed for the German TV at that show, so we had to wait around for about 4 hours. Eventually, we get to meet them and say, look, we were here before you, so change your name. It's confusing people. Pete Townshend looked at us and replied, there's the Yardbirds and the Birds. Nobody's confused by that, so bugger off. That was what Pete Townshend told Randy Bachman, and it's obviously a fantastic story. And during the same conversation, Bachman recalled that they actually became friends after that meeting, although it wasn't a very pleasant first meeting between both bands. Bachman and Townshend became good friends, and it became really an inside joke for them. So they would usually rang each other and say bugger off, and became an inside joke for them. And there's an interesting video made by Radio X. You can see that it's available on YouTube. It was done a few years ago, where Pete Townshend answers the most common questions that people make about The Who on Google. And Radio X selected those questions, and one of the biggest things that people look for on Google regarding The Who is, are The Who and the Guess Who the same band? That, there's millions of people who search for that on Google. And what Pete Townshend said was, you bloody idiot, of course they're not. That's what he simply answered about that. And obviously they're two completely different bands. They although they were from the same era and had same era and had similar names, their music is completely different, and they're both fantastic bands. If you have not heard yet one of the two or the two bands, you should take a look at it. and you should hear both of them, especially the Guess Who, which is not as famous as the Who. The Guess Who is just probably one of the most underrated bands of all time. And Randy Bachman, after he left the Guess Who, he formed BTO, Bachman Turner Overdrive, and that's another really underrated band, another incredible Canadian group. And Pete Townshend even said that one of Bachman's Turner Overdrive's biggest hits, which is You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet, was inspired by The Who's Bob O'Reilly. That's what Pete Townshend said once. So you tell me, what do you think? I hope you liked the video. I hope you liked the story. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave your comment, and visit rockandrollgarage.com. I see you later.